5 minutes once they get their materials launched here, and we'll ring a bell or a gong or something at the end of the 5 minutes and take them off the stage. There'll be no questions, no Q&A during the lightning rounds, but what we have immediately following this is a large break in our program, and that's intended for a couple of things. And one is to give you an opportunity to maybe meet with one of the presenters afterwards, as well as to visit our vendor show, which will be opening up right after this session. And as I'm talking, it occurs to me that we've had several folks join us this morning who weren't with us yesterday. And it really makes sense for us to perhaps go around and let those people introduce themselves. And it includes a number of our vendors that we want to support today. So let's see. Who's new today that I can have them introduce themselves? Here? Okay. I know this person over here.
I'm Frank Roberts from here at Western.
Oh, anyone else? Okay, I'll run over here.
Good morning, I'm Mandy Pritchard from Umpqua Community College.
Corey Sommerfeld from Umpqua Community College.
Welcome. And I see someone over here I want to have introduced.
Couldn't get away, huh? Maggie Barklin, and I'm from Western Washington University Extended Education.
Did we miss anyone else? Okay, and so if you want to open up your program so you can see who the presenters are, we're going to do it in the order of the lightning rounds for listed there for Monday. And we'll start off here with Randy Stamp.
Thank you, John. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Randy Stam from Idaho State University. I need to be quick, so I have 5 minutes to confuse you, and I'm hoping to be successful with that. So, this morning I'm talking about rubrics. And I put on Moodle rubrics because that is our learning management system at ISU, but if you're using Blackboard or Angel or some other LMS, rubrics are fairly new and something I would like to go through the process quick here with you. So, one of the things that as you go through and using rubrics, you have to think about what you need to do with them and why would a faculty member use them. And so as they design a rubric, they need to be thinking about the process, so the process of the activity and what criterion they're going to be using to assess those students with this rubric. And so sometimes it's about the process. So if they're in a group activity of some type, you may want to evaluate the process. It's sometimes about it, you also have to evaluate the product. So if it's a paper or presentation or whatever else, and so rubrics are good for that. Plus, rubrics help with the process of answering the questions that always faculty get when it comes to grading papers. Why did I get this grade? This helps with those questions. You get fewer emails, you get fewer phone calls, so on when you use rubrics, especially with assignment type activities. And so other things to be thinking about as you consider rubrics would be the levels assessment, the learner, instructor, instructors, if you have multiple instructors, and the technology, which we'll be looking at here in just a moment. And then also testing the reliability. So how many times have somebody used this? Are you using it with multiple instructors? So there's a reliability factor there too. So now, how does it work in Moodle? So you need to identify assignment. So you're using an assignment activity, and there's a choose advanced grading option, and we'll be going in there in just a second. You'll be creating and applying a grading criteria and criterion depending on what you're using, and then you have to enable the activity through that rubric. And then what does the student see compared to what the instructor sees? So I'm going to go ahead and bounce over to the next slide here. And let's jump into the course so you can actually see what it looks like. So we'll go ahead and play in my sandbox here. So I've added a paper assignment here already. as an instructor, I'm in an instructor view, and I'm going to edit the settings here. Once I create an assignment, I have a grading option. Scroll down for me. So I can determine the grade, but in the grading method, I have two different options. I can just go straight with a grade option, or I can go with the rubric option. Once that rubric option is set with the assignment, I'll go ahead and save and return to course. Actually, I want to display, but that's okay. Once I go in there, I have this advanced grading setting, which looks at the rubric itself for that assignment. And I've created one criteria for this. And I can, at this point, edit the current one, have different items that I want to grade it on. I can delete it, or I can publish publicly, so I can make it available to anyone else that's using Moodle in our system too. So if I edit this particular one, I can go through and add a level or add a criterion for this particular assignment, but I can reuse it too if I needed to. Now the big thing is, with this particular tool, with it being fairly new to the newest version of Moodle, and I think it's fairly new for Blackboard too, if I remember, the one thing you have to keep in mind is, well, wouldn't it be nice if we could reuse this with other assignments or different types of activities? And that's a direction I think this is going right now. But it's a pretty powerful tool. I'm done. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. I'm Terrell Thompson with the University of Washington, and I'm going to attempt to caption a video in 5 minutes. And hopefully that'll work out well. I actually had some PowerPoints to accompany this as well, but pretty quickly learned in practicing that I'm not going to be able to do both. So if you want to find out about the whys of captioning and just sort of issues around making technology accessible, I've got another session later on this morning, so please feel free to stop by and check that out. So we have a video here, and we're going to just sort of walk through the steps of captioning a video on YouTube, just to kind of give you an idea of what the workflow is. How many of you have videos on YouTube, instructional or otherwise? The majority of hands go up. How many of you have captioned those videos? Okay, that's great. It's good to see so many hands up. So this might not be new to you. How many of you captioned them in 5 minutes? All right, we got one. So we have a video here called Sound Sounds on the UW Huskies channel.
Puget Sound from above, a picture of serenity and...
It's not captioned, but we do have a CC button, so we can turn on captions. And nice thing about uploading video to YouTube is it can automatically transcribe and automatically generate captions. How many of you played around with this feature? Okay, it's an entertaining feature. Sometimes can be effective.
quiet beauty.
I'm going to skip ahead to where I know there to be some dialogue.
Loud and clear. A ship passing by overhead as it sounds underwater.
A ship is generally very loud and covers a broad range of frequencies or pitches.
Chris Bassett says vessel traffic is the most significant noise source. Breaking waves.
Freaking wait. Unless my ears are deceiving me, I don't think he said freaking wait. So this is not going to do for captions. And given really good optimal audio quality, it can do an okay job, and you still need to go in and clean things up. But this isn't going to be acceptable at all, and we're better off just starting over from scratch. So there are lots of free tools for captioning YouTube videos. And a couple that I like to use, .sub.com is a really good one. And I've really become a big fan of universalsubtitles.org, which just recently changed its name to Amara, but you still find it at universalsubtitles.org. And I'm going to just start the process of captioning in Universal Subtitles so you can see what it's like. First of all, it walks you through the entire process if you're new to the tool. Very, very helpful videos. And basically I just type. It plays, and I listen, and I type what I hear.
Puget Sound from above, a picture of serenity.
Bad typing. Okay, I'm going to change the mode. This is beginner mode. The recommended mode is magical auto pause, where it watches what I'm typing and strategically sort of pauses based on when it thinks I need it. And it actually is pretty good at doing that.
Quiet beauty. But under the surface, a different story. But under the surface, a different story. A different story. Researchers from the Applied Physics Laboratory of the University of Washington have bugged the sound with
So
the University of Washington have bugged the
basically it's playing, and then as I type it sort of senses that I'm falling behind, then it pauses, and then when it senses that I've caught up, it plays again. And I actually did caption this video. It's about a 3-minute video, and I captioned it in about 10 minutes this morning. And the result of that is a caption file. Let's see, where's open with? Yep. So this is what it looks like. This is an SRT file. Each caption is numbered, and then it's got a timestamp and then the text. And it sounds like I'm out of time already. Wow, that went fast. But over here, in YouTube then, to upload the video, very simple process. Log into YouTube, go to your video manager, click on Add New Captions or Transcript, and upload that SRT file, and voila, you have a captioned video. So pretty quick process.
It's on the desktop somewhere.
Yes, it is. If you can find the desktop, close that. If you can find the desktop, keep closing. Nope, it's right there. And this is great for the classroom because you've seen how long it takes people to move back and forth, get their slides, do that, pull them off the stage. If you can teach the students how to set timings on slides, you've got it made. So,
I hate to say that I am a
slideshow.
F5. I'm a Mac person, so I'm
Slideshow.
We're sorry. Working with a hand.
Yeah, we're sorry.
I've got a little handicap here. Sorry.
1, 2, and so here we go with our hi. I'm Colleen Kermian,
And I'm Becky Etheridge.
and we're from the University of Washington, Tacoma.
Whoops. And we're doing just-in-time faculty development.
In the JIT just-in-time digital age. You all remember this. It seemed like yesterday when the academic had all the time in the world and even free time in the summer. They learned, they came to workshops, they enjoyed workshops.
But that's not true today for today's academic. There's a lot more things that academics are juggling. There's the teaching, research, service, there's different kinds of students, there's picking up their kids from daycare, there's a variety of all the committees,
But now, in the information age, we also have that learner that they're struggling with. Faculty tell us all the time that they're not teaching to the same type of classroom anymore. They're the full and part-time. There's students working more, studying less.
And who's coming up next is generation always on the go, constantly connected. And so learning, we're going to be supporting teaching and learning for those students.
Where we're reinventing teaching for that just-in-time moment. How? Giving faculty the option of learning anytime, anywhere, on their own, development and skill building as needed. When they have a question, where can they go for an answer? When it is a timely message, how do they get it?
And we're supporting them anywhere, whether it's, so it's no longer in the classroom. It's learner-centric. And we find ourselves across the country, the world, and
we're doing it by creating places they want to come and ways they want to learn. We've got coffee houses going on. We offer wine and cheese in our new faculty resource center. We're creating learning circles.
And we're working together across the campus, the various departments who find ourselves supporting faculty, supporting students, and we're talking and we're sharing resources, and it takes a village.
A village that models collaboration by leveraging what we have. So we're really depending on our central services, focusing on them as tools, whether they're Google Docs or the new Tegrity system. We're finding ways to offer training.
We're leveraging open source resources so that faculty are looking for support not just on campus, but out in the larger internet and through blogs, Facebook, Tumblr, variety of.
One of our favorite is Jing. When a faculty member has a question, we often have them call our office and we say, look in your email in 4 minutes. We'll have a tutorial available for you instead of trying to walk them through it. Meet them where they are, but on the web.
We find ourselves developing apps, looking for apps, trying to support faculty that are on the go. Even while we're here, we're looking for things on our phones, trying to figure out how to work something.
So one of the things we're also doing, and it balances what Terry was saying, we have a site at Vimeo. We're trying to satisfice, not be perfect. We're hosting materials. We're hosting any kind of help file that we can so that the faculty can find it when they need it.
We're leveraging the crowd, the crowd and the cloud. Utilizing a variety of sources outside of our campus.
So basically, it's a model that the enterprise has created called knowledge management models, where what you need is available to you when you need it from all of these sources and also from toolboxes we're developing.
We're supporting faculty as the individual. They're at a variety of places in their careers or what they're working on, whether they're working on a teaching portfolio or they're a new faculty needing an orientation.
So it's a service as required for change, creating innovation in the way we offer things, trying to sort of toss out what we have done well in the past and think about what faculty need for the future.
So, and we're experiencing the unconference through Pachacha Kucha. Pachacha. Pachacha.
Making it fun, doing ignites for students and for faculty, and that is our Pachacha, a revised. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so fast. We're gonna speed that.
Alrighty. So you're going to need this microphone to hear me. I'm going to swing it over here so I can look at my screens. I'm Ed Bachman, Pierce College, and we started out on this little adventure with Quality Matters. So let me do page down here. So I'm sure most of you or some of you are familiar with it, particularly if you're working with faculty in online courses. If you're not familiar with Quality Matters, I put this in the form of questions for folks because I was actually querying people and using it. I'm not going to do that now because it'll take too much time, but it is a set of standards set for online course development. It is a peer-based review system, so faculty reviewing faculty, helping them come up to these standards. It is, this is a ringer question. It's not instructor-centered, as instructors would maybe like it to be. It is very student-centered, so you're looking at your course from the perspective of a student through that lens. And it is very much design-based. It's not about how you teach the course, it's about how the course is set up to work for students. Is it only for online? Not exactly. It's used there most often, but you could use it for hybrid, web enhanced, and you can actually use the alignment between the teaching activities, the assessments, and the outcomes of the course in any course if you wanted to look at it in that way. So if you want to look at it into it for yourself, qmprogram.org is a good place to go. And these slides, of course, are out on the web, and you can look at them later. So Pierce College started out, and we're very fortunate in the community college system to have our state board staff sitting over there at that table, who've licensed all kinds of cool tools for us and great tools for us to use. And one of them is the Quality Matters system as a consortium. We all have access to this and have access to training. So we had a group of our folks go through and take the training and get squared away. So we ended up inviting our military folks in. They had their own quality assurance program going on, so they kind of joined our little team. We went about setting up a goal to figure out if this was a good fit for our college. We ended up reviewing 8 courses and collected some data from our participants so that we could then move ahead and make some recommendations about what we want to do with Quality Matters in the future. Our project ended up using the 2009-2011 rubric, and that rubric changes every couple of years. We focused only on 17 essential standards. There's a lot more kind of sub-standards in each of the key areas. And we did some internal reviews, not the national reviews that could happen as you get people from all across the country being on your review teams looking at your courses. We want to keep it simple and manageable for a short turnaround time. So our team involved our master trainers, the people we got trained through the training program, and we used faculty who had been through the Applying the QM rubric training that we offered to our own faculty and invited others from the system to come join us. They sat in on, made up the review teams that looked at our own courses. We added a little pre-post survey to it to help us gather some data about what our folks felt about the training. And so then we came, we received this little award for this little process because I put the proposal in, and we have an e-learning council that has a award process that they give out, and we happened to be selected that year for this fun and innovative effort. So our recommendations, you can see a lot of detail here. The top 2 bullets really are the kind of response from the survey information. Most of the folks really liked it, and out of all the trainees, they thought it was very helpful. We decided as we move forward that we'd make the recommendation that we want to use the new rubric that just came out. It's not quite so, the 17 essential standards have kind of been, they're all kind of essential now, so we'll use the total rubric. We'll have a QM team based on faculty across our district that will get paid a stipend to lead these review teams and do some other work, primarily consulting with faculty as they develop their courses and review their courses. And of course, we'll have team activities where we'll get together and figure out some other strategies and trainings that we might need to do around online course development. Of course, for the course developers, their incentive is they have a peer review, a post-tenure review process they have to kind of do things for, so we'll use that post-tenure review process as motivation for them to keep engaged with the QM activities. And then we'll try to, of course, blend this into our course development processes as well as we add new courses. Our teams will be made up of a master reviewer, and then we have trainers who will keep training all of our faculty. We're supposed to get through all of our faculty in a 3-year cycle now, from now till all of our online faculty anyway, between now and the end of our 3-year contract that's just about ready to kick into gear. So we've got about 150 odd faculty to train between now and the end of 3 years, which shouldn't be a problem with the people we have ready to train. We can do online training as well. So we're going to suggest that we have 10 master reviewers across the district, not counting what's going on out at the military, and those folks will divide up courses on a quarter-by-quarter basis, try to do four to 6 courses in a year, which would be 36 to 48 for the whole group of them. So hopefully we can get through all the courses in a 3 to 6 year cycle without too much problem, including new ones. Thank you very much. There's more information on the web.
Pull up my webpage here. Okay, I'm Renee Carney. I'm from Lower Columbia College in Longview, Washington. And I spoke yesterday, so if you want to know more about this in depth, not 5 minutes, there is a recording available, and I had an instructor with me as well, so you'll be able to hear her take on the system. But we started looking for a new learning management system in the winter of 2011. We put a task force together of 13 different individuals, not all faculty mostly, but also including the librarian and a few other administrative staff. We highlighted essential and important criteria that we were looking for and narrowed it down to 3 systems: Moodle Rooms, Desire to Learn, and Canvas. And following a pretty extensive exploration, that's the word for it, where we put in a lot of faculty, a lot of staff, and students, they all settled on Canvas, and we made the recommendation. We ran a pilot in winter of this year with 76 courses. That's not a normal pilot. And 23 instructors. They were just really excited to embrace it, and they wanted to get in there. Following our results, which was all of the key areas, so navigation, communication, we had over 90% approval in everything that we surveyed. So our president looked at that and said, we're moving now. So spring, we went into production. We're still moving, of course. We won't actually start our full migration until fall, and we allowed for a full year of migration by request of the faculty. So we're taking our time, but right now, even with volunteers, we have 113 courses this spring, so we're excited. So I want to show you a few of the strengths. The first one is navigation, and the strength was it's simple and it's consistent. So you go into a course, and the consistent part is down the left-hand side. You can actually simplify that, so students might only see the top 3 or 4 items that you want them to see, and then you can strategically place the tools back in throughout the quarter as you're expanding. The other one is communication. So you do have an inbox, but the communication actually works as a tunnel. So students can come in, they can send a message, or they can receive a message through Canvas. They can say, I actually want that to go to my cell phone as a text message, or I want that to go to my LCC or my Gmail account, and this is how often I want to receive it. And then they can also respond from those notifications, so they don't actually have to log back into the LMS to respond. It's very nice. The other strength is grading. Let me go into one here. And actually, you can see on the right-hand side, I have something that needs graded. It's going to take me right into what's known as the speed grader. So you can see, and I know Teresa would not mind, she's one of our instructors here, so I'll display this. But you can see what she wrote. I could pull up the rubric. So you saw the rubrics in Moodle, but here they are in Canvas. And I could just grade this. Oops. Save it. I can type my comment, or I can even click right here. And this recording tool is built into every part of Canvas, so students can even use it to submit work or discussion posts. Huge accessibility thing. It really opens access. But I could record Therese my comments, and it would automatically attach it as feedback and send it to her. And then the last strength I'll cover is the help feature. So as an admin, having a help feature that's available to instructors is huge. They have a Canvas guides that are very thorough, informative. They have videos. There's report a problem, which goes directly to my desk, and I can escalate it. Ask the community. There's a huge community of users. And then my favorite is request a feature. This program was created by students with a student-centered focus, but they're also really in tune to their clients. So they want to know what you need and what you're going to use. So you can come in, loading, there we go. You can search for features that have already been requested. If there's something in there, or if there's not, you can actually suggest your own idea, and you can vote. They also inform you here what's planned, and on the right-hand side, they have a timeline, which is hugely helpful. We know what's coming and when it's coming. Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Hamiter, and I'm going to talk to you about the value of being a community partner with the English class I worked with this last quarter for the Student Technology Center. And I have to tell you, this is my first presentation that I finished at 10:30 last night, so it's good to have some interesting things happen to me. One of the things that we find at the Student Tech Center is that there's so much work to be done, and there's so few resources. I mean, literally, 60% of my job is to help this tech center, and I have a coworker who has been taken away half-time to do some other job. So between the two of us, we have to manage, this staff of 21 people, plus, whip out documents and training and cover all these things that are going on with that, plus do our other job. So we really take advantage of any opportunity we can to kind of connect with students that are doing projects for credit and whatnot. And so this is one of the opportunities that we have to work with them. So these are classes. This is an English 420 class, and they do technical writing, which is perfect for us because we need lots of docs to kind of go along with our workshops and stuff. And it's a simple process. They have worked with a lot of community members, and what they've done for us is they're like, oh, we love working with you because you're just like the perfect fit for technical writers. The process is really simple. For us, we say, okay, here's what we need this quarter. This workshop, in fact, this quarter we had 2 teams working for us, but we had a couple workshops that my students are great because they're smart, and they're like, oh, what about this? Let's make this workshop. And they make these workshops, but there's no documents for them, and nobody else can teach it but them. And it's kind of like this, okay, thanks for that great thing, and when you leave, what the heck are we going to do? So what I do is I go to this class and I say, hey, we've got this wonderful workshop. You'll love it. And smart students, and they're going to work with you. And we need good documentation, what you're an expert at. And so if they choose us, we give them a timeline. We meet with them one day, give them a timeline, say, this this week you should watch the workshop, get together with our student, watch it. Next week you should come up with an idea of what you're going to do, and then the next week present to us. So we kind of give them some structure to fit within. And we give them a template. The template is of another course that's exactly like we want, but it gives them a really good, clear idea. So it's doable within a quarter. And then we give them a list of people they can contact in this tech center that are experts in the different things, like working with InDesign and stuff. When they're building the document, if they have problems, they can make one-on-one appointments with these people to help them. But that combination of timeline and real specific tight package turns out some amazing product for us. This is a picture of our two teams meeting there for their midterm review with us. They basically have a rough draft at this point. And you can see there's they're producing 7 sets of documentation for us. So it's not an insubstantial amount of work that these people are doing. And this is at the end of the quarter, they of course present what they've done to the class, and it's like that time of joy when they've really gotten through their process. What are the benefits for us? Again, we get absolutely professional, well done documentation. Here, these students actually made 3 pieces for us. They made a workshop brochure that comes with that follows the content. They gave us a quick guide because Illustrator has a lot of keystrokes you can use, and it's basically a list of the pertinent keystrokes. And a CD with a hard copy of those things, and a PDF, because we actually print those out for our workshops and hand them out to people that come. These guys went the extra mile, made a QR code on the back of the workshop and recorded the workshop so that someone could take a smartphone, watch the workshop, follow along with their workshop guide. So you get some just amazing stuff that these guys do, and we're not paying them. What it does for us is it keeps our documentation up to date. I mean, we all work in this environment where there's so much stuff that's being thrown at us, and programs are changing, and I have to end my presentation. I am speaking about the Tech Center in the next concurrent session, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Linda Schlief, and I am the coordinator for the Urshig Assistive Technology Resource Center, which is a resource of Woodring College of Education here at Western Washington University. And I am going to cover a few things today, a little bit about what the EATRC is and about what assistive technology is. Also, I want to diverge a little bit and talk about universal design and the convergence of technologies that we're seeing today, and then loop back to talking about how we serve as a resource. So the Urshig Assistive Technology Resource Center, our vision is to facilitate the use of assistive technology to support life and learning, and to increase awareness, knowledge, and skills regarding assistive technology. So what is assistive technology? Well, it has a really broad definition. It's defined basically as any tool that improves functioning, incredibly broad. Where the definition narrows is at the end, where it says the functioning of an individual with a disability. The reason for that narrow definition at the end is that assistive technology is defined in disability law. But what we've found is that many individuals can benefit from assistive technologies when we include them as standard tools in general environments. So I want to talk just a little bit about universal design. This won't be a new concept to any of you, but the concept of having environments and products be as usable by as many people as possible. Having that kind of a built-in flexibility supports diverse populations across environments, And again, when we include what we traditionally considered as accommodations for individuals, when we include those things as standard tools in the environment, we find that other people benefit. This also really promotes control for individuals who then can choose and use the tools that work for them, which is something we all value. So thinking about assistive technology, just a few examples of some of the tools. Traditionally, we have thought more about assistive technology as being for fairly significant disabilities, things like physical disabilities, sensory, vision and hearing, and also communication disorders. So an example here, thinking about technology on a continuum from low tech, mid tech to high tech. So again, considering the need based on the disability, it would be more of a traditional approach. Now we're thinking about things in a broader sense, instead thinking about the function that we want to support rather than the specific disability. And so thinking about reading, for example. The idea of a bar magnifier, we might think of magnifiers traditionally mostly for people with a vision impairment, but many individuals can benefit. Think about a student with an attention deficit. The magnifier, the yellow line, can help them focus and attend to what they're reading. Reading pen, which again might benefit someone with a learning disability, but think about an English language learner who might benefit from hearing words read out loud and from how they're pronounced. Text-to-speech, screen readers we think of as for people with vision impairment, but again, many of us can benefit from having what we're reading highlighted and read out loud on a computer screen. So taking that just a little bit further, I want to think about the concept of what we're seeing today about the different types of technologies kind of intersecting and overlapping on an increasing basis. And information and communication technologies, educational and instructional technologies, and assistive technologies. And we're seeing more and more of a convergence in what I tend to think about as support technology. And isn't that what technology tools really are, is to support for all of us? There are a number of causes for this convergence that we're seeing. One thing is just the exponential increase in technology availability and affordability. We have a much broader range of tools to choose from. We have an increased diversity in our communities that gives us a wider range of needs to meet. We have increasing evidence about what works, both with technology and with learning. And we also have increased cross-discipline exchange, which I think is really exciting. Just for example, being here, I really appreciate the opportunity for this. Ah, really? Isn't that amazing? Well, I hope I'll see some of you at the tour this afternoon. Boy, that goes by.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Mark Beatty. I probably don't need that. From Gonzaga University, and I'm going to talk a little bit today about a project that we've had going amongst a number of universities. And I'm going to start these around. There's a couple per table, some handouts. How many of you are or have been involved in any sort of work with refugees? Okay, one. Okay, good. Okay, so hopefully by the end of this 5 minutes, everyone will be excited enough to at least participate or consider participating at some point in time. About 2006, there was a worldwide conference with Jesuit schools in Denver. Father Michael Smith came and spoke from Australian Catholic University. And he talked about a project that he had going with refugee sites in the Thai-Burma border area. Huge conference room, not a single dry eye in the house when he got done. So he got us started thinking about that. And then I went to Tanzania in 2007 and came back, and I was working at Gonzaga at that time for Mary and Tom McFarland, who went on sabbatical to the Thai camp. So a little shout out to Lewis Clark State College. The McFarlands were there for a number of years too. This launched Jesuit Commons, Higher Education's at the Margins, really looking at how do we take a global network and leverage it like the Jesuits have to bring education to the very margins of where education reaches now. And then now, presently, we have facilities and outreach areas in Malawi, Kenya, Syria, and the Thai-Burmese border, and looking at a few more. Now, throughout all this, every one of these pictures that I show has a story behind it that could last far more than the 5 minutes I'm allocated. So I'm hoping that if you like what you see, you'll say, hey, Mark, what was that one picture where the guy is standing on top of these mud bricks with a stick? Well, that's where they're actually building their school in Kenya, and it's now built. And how did we go about connecting things? Putting up a microwave tower, solar power. You can see how many amps we're pumping right there at that top slide. Nothing. Lightning attracts solar power panels, we found out was one of our big pitfalls. And then behind the curtain, okay, we're starting literally with dirt in these things. We have to choose some sort of LMS system. We have to work with IT to get something set up. We got a great grant from Microsoft and Lenovo to set up the computer stations in Malawi and Kenya, and that was really fantastic. But then we have things like working with the schools, where I have countless cups of coffee with registrars, student accounts, financial aid. What do you mean they're not paying tuition? Why do these students have to, are they getting credits? All of these explanations that have to take place behind the scenes. And then we have to find tutors that work on the ground in the camps that can keep connected with teachers that are teaching at a distance. Right now, presently, I'm doing leadership theory in the lead faculty. We have 6 faculty from around the United States and 1 that's in Nigeria that are teaching sections of leadership theory to the camps, all at a distance. But we have tutors that are in each camp that keep us informed of things like a couple of weeks ago, the Nubians and the Dinkas couldn't agree on who was going to use the soccer field in the Kakuma camp. Big battle. We actually lost one of our people in that. When they have skirmishes in these communities, it's deadly and very violent. We have to work with that, and we have to have on-ground tutors that work with us in that area. One of the pictures from the previous slide was in Syria. Not a good place to have a school right at the moment, folks. But the students are showing up and actually studying at night by candlelight because it's after the curfew and the women won't be seen going to the school. Otherwise, they would be killed. So this is important work. So why do it? I'd like to just read an excerpt from an essay from one of my students along the Thai-Burma project. It won't even take 30 seconds, so the cow won't bother. War cannot breed peace. Instead, it creates more conflicts. War cannot guarantee freedom. In contrast, it may cause more restrictions. War does not bring happiness. Instead, it brings sadness. War does not divide but unite. I believe the pen is more powerful against the enemy than shooting them with a gun. I believe the dialogue is stronger than silence. Silence will not let the world know what is happening. Nonviolence is the best solution. So, thank you very much.
I'm just going to call up a website real quick. There's a few open. Okay. Okay. Hello, I'm Justina Brown. I'm starting out with a little lightning fact for you. The most deadly day of the year in terms of being struck by lightning is, anybody know? Any guesses? What's that?
We saw it.
You saw this already?
No, we saw it on.
Oh, you saw it on the. Oh, dang. All right. No, well.
When we go to the museum tonight.
Yeah, the Mega Zapper's awesome. Scared my children to death. All right, so 4th of July, a lot of people outside. All right, I'm here to talk to you about a custom web application that my office developed. I'm Justina Brown. I work at Western Washington University in our Teaching and Learning Center that we call the Center for Instructional Innovation and Assessment. And so a little background on that. One of the things my office does is a faculty development summer grant, and it's a 5-day workshop. At the end, the instructors have an idea, usually, of what they can do to improve their course or learning in their course. And this is Tor Hansen, a younger version of him anyway, and he met with me on Friday, and you're going to hear from him in a second how this tool works for him. But this is a climate mapping tool that he decided would be very useful for his students to practice, because on exams they really mess it up. So my office supported this project. We developed a web application and we called it Torzone. So a few key points. There's a drag and drop climate and circulation. There are indicators that they can drag and drop onto these fake worlds, and it gives feedback. They can try again until they get it right, and the data is collected, and they can set it up for credit. So this data can be uploaded into our LMS, and there are 3 different worlds that are all based on Earth. And then an extra credit that is one that puts everything in reverse, the axial tilt and so forth. So what we're going to do, hang on, there we go, is hear from Tor.
Hi, I'm Tor Hansen at Western Washington University. I teach a class called Historical Geology where the students learn about...
Oops, didn't mean to do that. Come back. Oh, I muted it. Again?
And CIIA came up with this program that works pretty well, I think. Just to show you world number 1, this is a map of past Earth showing a single supercontinent on the Earth. And what the students need to do is put the climates on there. So here's a equatorial wet climate, which would be right near the equator. One of the tricks of this is that, that they need to learn is that it's a band at the equator that expands to the east. Then there's also desert bands, which are more or less centered around the tropics. And they do a peculiar thing. They don't make simple straight bands across the 30-degree latitude line. They start off more or less at the 30-degree line and then diverge away from the equator and end before they get to the east side of the continent. Also, the currents, ocean currents, are clockwise in the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. So it's not rocket science, but they just need to practice doing it. So there's what should be a correct Earth, and oh no, it's not correct. Sorry. So boom, there we go. So that should be correct. Let's actually make a mistake. These these choices are based on common mistakes that they make. So one common mistake, actually this one would be better, would be they see the clockwise rotation in the northern hemisphere, but they put two separate circulation shells. Let's submit this, and that then shows that it's wrong. So then they can try again and try to get it right. If they've done the three worlds correctly, there's three different worlds they can choose. They can pick. Each one is a different continental configuration. They then get to go to the extra credit one, which has reversed planetary rotation. And this is an important one because now they have to not only remember the pattern, but reapply it to a novel condition where the Earth has an opposite rotation, which makes all the patterns opposite. And I think that's a pretty good, it's good for them to try to apply this to a really novel situation like that. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so, oh, that's it? Okay, well, I was done. I just wanted to say that we did develop this on a shoestring. I had two students, one programmer and one designer, and over a few months of them working very part-time, we developed this as a Flash application. It has admin, faculty, student interfaces, and we interfaced with Tor several times, and I acted as the project manager. That's it. Thank you very much. That I want to tell you about because I've used it and I know faculty who have used it and it works very well. But why evaluate peers? A little background first. It makes students accountable. It improves learning as the students look back on the project and evaluate how they performed and how their peers performed. And it improves feedback. You know, it improves instruction as the instructor sees this information and uses it the next time they teach. And it's hot right now. People are talking about flip teaching. They're recording lectures and doing more interactivity in the class, and that means more teamwork usually. So also there's the National Survey of Student Engagement that people are paying attention to that information. Whoa, oh, that was... No. Okay. All right. I have a lot to cover, but whoa. All right. So peer evaluation methods. Whoa, that got messed up. The paper and pen, that can be really onerous. If you collect 40 or more pieces of paper and you try to get that information into a useful format for students to learn from. Online surveys are too anonymous. For the same reason, you can't get that information back to the students in a way that they can learn from it. Enterprise solutions, I don't know if you've heard of any. I just learned about iPeer, but that's something that requires a lot more planning and the whole university buy-in. And so there's this tool called CATME, that's an abbreviation, for Comprehensive Assessment for Team Member Effectiveness. It's free. It was developed in 2003, I think, with an NSF grant, multi-institution group, and they have updated it. They've just updated it in December. It measures behavior. It's not asking opinions, and it uses well-documented research areas to give you choices to include in the tool. There's also a team maker tool. That's a separate piece that helps you develop teams. It does the dirty work for you. The data is easy to evaluate. It sends all these email reminders. I'm so sorry, John. He's in my test group. And so they get a kind of they can't forget to do it. It gives them the warning 2 days before the deadline and so forth. And then it gives the team members each aggregate feedback once the instructor releases the data after everyone's done it, so they can see how everyone evaluated them, and it gives them some research-based suggestions on how to improve if needed. So I'm just going to show you some screenshots, so when I run out of time I can go really fast. So this is the student view of a test group that I set up. So as a student, when I log in, I see the link to take the survey. This survey only had a few categories. Keeping on track is one of them. It gives you a description of the rating and how you would rate your peers over here. And so you can very quickly rate everyone in the group on the same descriptor. And as you go through, at the end, you can choose to have your students give you confidential comments as well. And then this is what it would look like, if you can read that. Yeah, after the instructor released it and I came back in, I could see how people evaluated me here. And then I have a flag up here because I rated myself too highly as opposed to how people rated me. And so here's some suggestions for me down below. And then this was before I released, okay, now I'm in as an instructor. This is before I released that survey, so it gives me that warning here as an instructor that I haven't released that particular one. The ones below are ones that have been done in the past, and I can go back to them and view the results. This is a summary report that it shows me to give me kind of an idea. These links on the left, which if I hovered over them would show a comment that the student wrote. Here's my overconfident flag. And then if I drilled in and looked at the raw data, the screen presents a lot on the same screen, so I kind of did a bunch of clips of it to show you. So it shows you everybody's ratings on the, and there's the legend for the categories I included, and down below it shows me all of the comments from the students as well. That's it. And so there's some information for you. Thank you very much.
On time with all that.